all the bacon.
Hi, everybody. I'm Dave.
I'm John, and I love bacon.
Who doesn't love bacon? Well, my
Everybody loves
daughter,
bacon.
who's a pescatarian, that's who. But I do believe this is still the Coffee and Capes podcast, our podcast about two of our favorite things, talking about bacon and, talking about breakfast drinks like coffee and geek culture.
So loud.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. You were excited, enthusiastic, and excited.
Hi, everybody. It's Coffee and Capes, your potentially favorite podcast about coffee and geek culture.
Yep. I mean, I think it's fair. We probably have some folks out there that this is their favorite podcast. I mean, I at least hope one, because I know that my dad listens to it.
Hi, Don. Thanks for listening to us.
Thanks for listening. Yeah, he probably hasn't listened to it in a couple of weeks. He's been camping.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on. What's the next phase of
Hi,
all this?
everybody.
I don't know.
Thanks for finding us. We're in a particularly weird mood this morning, apparently.
Yes, that's all right.
Welcome to episode, I believe, 48.
I can tell you. Yes, episode 48. Episode 48.
So this is like season 2, right? Or was last time?
It is. Well, no, last one was beginning of season 2. Yeah. So this is, we've made it through a season. We're into the next season.
Excellent. And that season is
fall. Yeah, fall. It's fall.
Okay.
Hence the
why are we so goofy today? I don't know. Hey, everybody, thanks for finding us.
You don't have to be serious all the time.
Well, it's true. That's true. We are rarely serious, but
yeah, I don't know. I know why
silly today.
Yeah, we are. It's okay.
Okay, if you're still with us, thank you.
Thanks for hanging around.
Thanks for finding us in whatever way you did. We like to take a moment to remind you of all the ways that you can find us and connect with us, because we love it when you connect with us and leave us messages and all the things.
Yeah. So, guys, if you've been listening to us for a while,
and we mean guys in the most gender non-specific way possible.
If you've been listening to it for a while, you can go ahead and fast forward past this part. If you're watching us, right, clearly you found us on YouTube. Hey, everybody, thanks for finding us on YouTube. If you're listening to us, you found us on, Spotify, iTunes, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, all the different ways that you can listen and consume your podcasty goodness. On social, we are on Instagram at coffee_N_capes. Same on TikTok. We actually posted a second TikTok video that nobody's watched, and that's because and that's because we still don't understand TikTok, and we're just doing whatever. So we're on Facebook, coffee, the letter N, the word capes, and then Twitter, coffee_the letter N _ the word capes. You can find us on the interwebs, coffeeandcapes.com, or if that's too complicated, you can type in comics.coffee. Right?
I think on Twitter, we're just at Coffee and Capes. I don't think it's underscores on Twitter.
Really? I don't know.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it's just Coffee and Capes.
Yeah, that's okay. That's all right. If they found us on Twitter, they don't need to. You can also click on our website. There's like social icons, and you just click on the social icon, and you don't have to remember anything. You just click the button and it takes you wherever you want to go.
I'm in favor of just clicking buttons.
Yeah, just click the button. Push the big shiny button. And then if you want to shoot us an email, we love correspondence, and we love hearing from people. So you can send us an email at supers _ nothing. There is no underscore there. It's just supers at Coffee and Capes. And I'm not spelling it out anymore.
Right. Yeah.
Done.
Clearly, that something would go awry today if we tried to spell.
Yeah, it's just, I'm gonna drink some more coffee.
I think that's a good idea. Let's have a sip of coffee here.
Yeah, I'll have a sip of coffee.
Okay. Well, thanks for finding us in all the ways that you do. Thanks for following us. We appreciate every one of you.
We do. And at our website, guys, you can find. We do have coffee, and we have comic books at our website. New run, like some back issues, graded, signed, all kinds of stuff for collecting. Actually, we've got a bunch of stuff that's going to be hitting the website. We may be having a surprise on the website in the next couple of days.
Ooh, we like surprises.
I know. We call that foreshadowing. Is that foreshadowing? No, that's teasing. That would be teasing, not foreshadowing. But guys, like we've got all kinds of stuff on there, including a graded copy of Wolverine number 88. If you're not familiar, right? That is the first meeting of Deadpool and Wolverine.
What?
I know. And if you listen to last week's podcast, we're getting Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds in the same movie together. As long as like, let's just hope when he breaks the fourth wall, he makes fun of like Hugh. Those two are going to be awesome.
There's no way he doesn't. It'll be great.
And there's rumors floating around. We are going to finally get the costume.
Really? The blue and yellow costume for Wolverine?
One of them. Okay. I don't know which one.
Yeah,
but
one of them.
Like the rumors are flying around that
no more just a white t-shirt.
No more just white t-shirt. Yeah.
Okay.
There's been a lot of rumors lately. There's a whole bunch of stuff. So apparently Ben Affleck suited up as Batman again, and they've reshot a bunch of stuff for for Flash. And the Gal Gadot has been confirmed to be in Aquaman, I believe. No, or Black Adam. No, Black Adam. The rumor is Henry Cavill showing up in Black Adam. That one is unconfirmed. Gal Gadot is confirmed for, I believe, Aquaman. Ben Affleck is confirmed for Flash, and then they're both confirmed for something else that I can't. Shazam. No, Gal Gadot's confirmed for Shazam. Sorry. Wow. I take that back. And it sounds like Gal Gadot and Ben Affleck are confirmed for Aquaman. Crazy. So, right? It's crazy.
But hey, we're only a couple of weeks away from Black Adam.
We are only a couple of weeks away from Black Adam.
Literally 2 weeks away.
Yeah, and that's exciting because if you're a comic book fan, right, and we assume most of you are, that's our first like Justice Society of America possible formation, which would be great. I really hope. I'd really like to see Henry Cavill back as Superman and see him and Dwayne Johnson square off.
That would be a lot of fun.
It would be pretty epic because there's such a great history of Superman and Black Adam like punching it out.
Right. Yeah.
Right. So anyway, moving on. We digress.
Yeah. Let's talk about some coffee.
Let's talk about coffee. So
coffee is a large part of what fuels our reading and fills our days, and we like coffee.
We do. We love coffee. It is something that we offer on our website. All of our coffee is, small batch roasted. And for those of you that ordered coffee like last week and it was a little slow getting to you, we do apologize. Our roasting side of the little coffee and capes small empire thingy, I guess we could call it, right? It is actually in
I was going to say small business, but I do like the idea of a small empire.
I like small empire.
Yeah.
It brings to mind like castles with guards and moats and things.
But little ones.
Anyway,
like
so we apologize.
Or something.
Yeah. Yes, there you go. Yes, I love that idea. So we do apologize because they got hit by the hurricane, and our roaster Robbie they got power back on. He's managed to get everything up and running again and fill in orders. So thanks for your patience.
And of course the main thing there is we hope everybody's okay. And
right. Absolutely. And we've reached out to we had some folks reach out about their orders, and they've been super nice and understanding and very kind. And one of the reasons I love this community is, you don't get a lot of, well, why didn't you plan for that? Because it's a natural effing disaster, gang.
And possibly, what did I hear yesterday? Maybe the third strongest hurricane that's ever hit the U.S.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
It's pretty intense.
Yeah.
Pretty intense.
Category 4. It was no joke.
Yeah, they're pretty crazy. So, but our coffee of today that we're talking about it's fall. So you got to talk about it, right? Everybody starts lining up for it. It's the Merv pumpkin spice coffee. Excuse me. Right? Not to be confused with Merv pumpkin head from Sandman, though Sandman is a fantastic comic book, absolutely amazing show. So if you haven't checked it out, make sure you do. Read it, watch it, both. do both things. Read more. But Merv Pumpkin Spice is a medium roast flavored coffee. It is gluten-free, all natural. Like there's no added sugar or anything like that. So your little tummy is going to be happy. Your taste buds are going to be happy. And you're going to get the caffeine you need to be able to make it through the day. It is a hauntingly good coffee.
I've found it's I think you could say it's so good it's dreamy.
It is dreamy. Yeah, that is true.
Excellent. Okay. We hope you check that out and I hope you enjoy it. And let us know. Either way. We need honest feedback.
And give us some reviews on the podcast too, guys, when you hear it. Not this one. This one seems to be off to a rough start. But
right. Yeah.
You know, the other ones. There's better ones back there, you know.
I think 31. We're gonna redeem this one. We're gonna come back. We're gonna have a late inning comeback in and pull this one out. It's gonna be good.
Yeah. All right. Speaking of Dave, other than Kevin Costner, what are we talking about today?
Well, we like to do a little section we call fan fiction, where we highlight engagement that we've had with you, the fan of us.
Yeah, and this one comes from YouTube and Super Talk podcast, right? So we do love other podcasts, especially like the Genre Geeks guys. Yep. Make sure you check out AJ and team over there. They're fantastic. They're going to be at Dallas Fan Fest, by the way, handing out some cards to a super secret page on our website. It's going to have some special deals for just those people going to Dallas Fan Fest.
That's so cool.
Yeah, so keep an eye out for them. And then also Ladybird Provisions, right? We got to give a shout out to them. While they're not a podcast, they should be, They're great people. They do coffee bombs, which we put into our coffee on a regular basis.
Yep.
Shout out to Nicole and Sarah. But this one comes from Super Talk Podcast. Great guys over there. And it says, the rich history between Deadpool and Wolverine in the comics played out on the big screen. Yes, please. Yeah, we couldn't agree with you guys more. And we are just as excited as you guys are. By the way, great show. Keep it up, boys. Thanks.
Oh, thanks.
Super nice. We really appreciate it. Yeah, we're pumped. Deadpool and Wolverine, that's a dream come true on screen that none of us thought we were going to get, I think, until the next iteration of everything in 20 years. So to be able to get it, man,
with these actors that we love playing,
these actors, yes,
who love each other and really care about each other and have such amazing chemistry.
They do.
Well, like we said last time, expectations are going to be high, which can lead to disappointment, but
it can lead to disappointment. But we're gonna keep our fingers crossed and try to temper our excitement a little bit. As
I don't know if I am. I'm just going to be excited.
I will. I'm going to temper my excitement a little bit and just kind of breathe through it like labor.
Breathing through it is a good life skill and tactic. You got to do that sometimes.
Yeah.
All right. Well, friends, it is October, in case you hadn't noticed. And it's spooky season. So we thought we would have some fun with that. And today's topic, those of you that are watching on YouTube, you can get a little hint, as we usually have with our backgrounds, that we're going to talk about spooky comics that we are enjoying.
Yeah.
This October.
Or that we've enjoyed in general.
Yes.
Right?
True. Yes.
It doesn't have to be what we're enjoying right this moment, although there is a good, strong catalog of stuff that you can choose from. And it's one of the reasons, guys, that we're putting together, by the way, the Spooktober mystery box, right? Guys, that Spooktober mystery box is going to be phenomenal. It's going to be a lot of fun. So it is a limited box, by the way. I do just want to plug it really quick. It is going to have some hauntingly good coffee in there. You are going to get everybody's going to get a copy of R.L. Stine's absolutely fantastic Stuff of Nightmares. This is going to be one of those that I'm going to talk about in just a minute. I can't believe I almost bent that. That was just unacceptable. But also, guys, in some of those, we do have some pretty amazing stuff. Like we've got a few trade paperbacks going out in some of these boxes. Yeah. So a handful of boxes are going to get volume 1 of Dynamite which is if you don't know, Dynamite produces like Red Sonja and Vampirella and all those, and this is their zombie universe storyline. Yeah, so there's gonna be a handful of boxes that have that in it, and a whole bunch of other like fantastic comics, like DC versus Vampires, Deceased, which is great, some Ghost Rider, Something is Killing the Children. Like, this is going to be a really fun box if you like kind of those scary horror story-ish, right, kind of variant universe stuff. But I just wanted to plug that really quick. Some Venom, Carnage, probably. Venom. However, since we already mentioned it, I don't know if you've had a chance to read this yet, Dave.
I have not.
Oh man, for those of you watching at home, it's hard to see because the background gets in the way. So this is R.L. Stine's Stuff of Nightmares #1 from Boom Studios. Does everybody know who R.L. Stine is?
I was just going to say, in case you've been living under a rock for the last 30 years, R.L. Stine, or you just don't have, I don't know, reason to walk into a bookstore in the last 30 years. R.L. Stine was the creator of, oh gosh, what's it called? Goosebumps. Sorry. Yeah. Like going with some.
Okay, buddy.
Sorry.
It's okay. Drink some more coffee.
Complete brain fart there. Yeah. I'm going to have some more coffee. Meanwhile, yes, Goosebumps, the super, super, super popular kids / young adult series, Goosebumps. Yeah. There was a movie, maybe.
There was a movie, actually. It was pretty good, actually. I think it had Jack Black in it.
Yes, it did.
Yeah. That's what made it so good. Jack Black's phenomenal. I love Jack Black. Jack Black's a fan of the show. I made that up. I just made that up, right? I always like to pretend.
We don't. I mean, it's hard to prove a negative. You can't prove he's not a fan.
That's true. Until he comes out and says, "I've never listened to your show,"
which would mean, why would I ever care? Yeah,
which he's not said it. He'd have to have seen it or at least know of its existence. Anyway, this is really not for your kids. I was a little nervous diving into it. I mean, it looks fantastic. There's a number of covers. This is one of them that I think are great. There's a cover that makes me think of the movie Hellraiser, if you're familiar with that one. But the story inside, so well written, really great artwork too, and pretty creepy, man. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, there's the whole like what could go wrong with people trying to like, what could possibly go wrong with people trying to experiment with other people? Right? Like trying to build Frankensteins, essentially, right? Building on the idea of Frankenstein, they're trying to create people and
well, I mean, it worked out so well the first time. I don't know why you wouldn't want to keep trying.
Yeah, I mean, nothing went wrong there. But I absolutely love it. I cannot recommend it enough. And it's one of the books that we're going to put in the Spooktober box because it really is meant for, like, older, like grown up, or at least more mature audiences.
It's a mature audience.
Yeah, not your 5-year-old.
Right. Probably most of our books today that we're talking about are going to be in that category. And we usually do this with movies and TV shows. Like, there's a chance we'll be spoiling some things just talking about,
possibly.
So I just a warning that we don't concern ourselves with trying to keep spoilers to ourselves. We just talk about the stuff that we like and are fans of. And if that means revealing a plot point or a spoiler, it's probably going to happen. So
yeah, that's okay.
Just fair warn. We try to give you that forewarning because we believe that forewarned is fair warned. So
sure.
So there you go.
All right. Moving on. So yeah, R.L. Stine's Stuff of Nightmares. Check it out.
Is that the book that has a variant cover that's glow in the dark?
Yes.
That's pretty cool.
There are going to be some of the glow in the dark covers that are going to make their way into the Spooktober boxes, by the way.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So Dave,
all right.
What are you enjoying?
So I'm gonna go with I don't know if it's not a horror book, but I do think it's kind of spooky.
Okay.
In a way. I'm gonna go with, I'm just like getting into 8 billion genies.
Yeah, it's a good one. So that's interesting. I don't know that I would classify it as horror. I agree with you, like not in any way, shape, or form, but it has, I don't know, it's pretty, it can be pretty spooky.
Yeah. I mean, the idea that, so the premise is, one day all of a sudden 8 billion genies show up on Earth, one for every human being.
Mm-hmm.
And they give you one wish.
Yeah.
And of course, humanity being what it is, millions, if not billions of people like squander that wish on some pretty awful, weird, crazy, spooky stuff.
Right. Well, and so yeah, and it kind of covers the gambit, right? Like some people have wished to have dead relatives come back, that they
Yes.
like dead loved ones, right?
Right.
There's a ton, of course, you get the I wish I had superpowers.
Yep.
And people get superpowers. So, and
But
it's
apparently
really
there's things like, oh, I wish the Ark in St. Louis had like snakes coming, giant snakes coming out of it.
right.
Or I wish the
Just weird random
moon was
stuff.
right. Yeah, I wish the moon was a carnivore, and somebody else wished that apparently Santa Claus was real, and then the moon ate Santa Claus. Like,
I mean, as moons are often want to do when you have Santa Claus flying around them. I mean, it
Yeah.
is well documented and well known that the moon is a carnivore and flat.
And made of cheese.
Wait, hold on. I was joking about everything else. We all know it's made of cheese, though, right? That's
right.
the thing.
Yeah. Right. And nobody's ever been there. That's all.
And the writing and the art, by the team Ryan Brown and Charles Soule, it fits the story so well.
It really does.
Right. It really, really does. They've done a brilliant job bringing, like, honestly, that is one of those conversations, right? We have a past episode where we talk about just like kind of and we talk about it a few times, right? In different episodes, like the conversations that like we just had when we were nerds, like what would you do if you had, like, who's the strongest?
Yeah.
That
what superpowers would you take? Like, I think we did a draft of superpowers or something.
We did. What superpowers would you take? So this falls into that, right?
For sure.
Right? What superpowers would you take? What would you ask for?
Yeah.
And they do a good job of kind of bringing that around and showing us the dark side of what could happen there.
For sure. And that some people wish to be superheroes and have superpowers, and some people wish to be monsters and supervillain types. And but it's not, talking about it like that makes it sound like just sort of another version of a superhero comic, and it's not at all.
No, it's not.
It's really more, to me, it's more a study of human nature.
Yes.
And so I suppose it's a little borderline on the creepy. It's not a horror book, but it's definitely, I do think there's some creepy elements to it.
I think it's going to be interesting to see it brought to the screen because it has been optioned already. It was optioned really fast. I think after the first 2 issues.
Wow.
It was picked up by, one of the streaming services to turn into a show. And I think it has the potential to be, a lot more adult.
Yeah.
Than, I think people would initially think it will be. Those that aren't familiar with the work, those aren't familiar with the comic, I think if they just saw it suddenly on Netflix, 8 billion genies, that could be fun, and they're going to turn it on, and it is going to be horrifying in some aspects.
Right.
I
thought already in the first couple of, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
In the first couple of issues, like a vampire shows up. Somebody wishes to be a vampire, and so there's,
was it Morbius? Was it Jared Leto? Because that was horrifying.
It was horrifying in its own way. And not in the way it intended.
Sorry, Jared Leto. You were the best part of that movie.
He was the best part.
We're not making fun of you.
I mean, a little, but
we're making fun of Sony.
Yeah, that's true. I don't think it was supposed to be Jared Leto.
It would have been hilarious if it was.
But people bring back celebrities that are dead.
Yeah.
And that's
they
kind of
bring
fun
back their spouses that have died, right?
Right.
I thought one of the interesting things was, one of the main characters in the story is like a small boy who, God, you gotta love small, like young kids'
Right.
imaginations because they're
Right.
so much more expansive.
Yes.
Um, and so he wishes to be a superhero so he can protect his parents and find
Right.
a spot for them.
Right.
And you know, it would have been really easy to like write those characters as characters who had suddenly gained incredible wisdom and insight and everything else because they were superhero. Like he's in a massive body,
Right.
but it's just this kid. Like he's still a little kid inside this all-powerful body, and you know, he goes off and joins another group of heroes, and they're going around trying to help everybody. And you know, one of them gets spoiler, one of them gets killed, and he's like, you know, you telling the other kid, it's like you can do it. And he's like, but I'm just a kid. He's like, yeah, so am I.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's like, whoa,
Yeah. For
how
sure.
many of those superheroes flying around and super villains flying around are children, or you
Right.
know, it really did an interest. I liked that about it. I
Sure.
really did.
Which to me adds an element of horror. Like,
Yeah. Hmm.
is it kids?
Yeah.
Kids,
Yeah. Have you
11,
ever
12 years
seen?
old, just running around being like killing each other. And what are they being exposed to? And it begins to explore some of that. Like, what is this doing? Doing all this fighting, um, having to kill some people. What is that doing to the 12-year-old or the other children that are engaging in these activities?
Well, and it brings us around to, you know, there was a great movie called Brightburn. I
Hmm.
don't know that I'd call it great, but it was
You
really
just
good. And
did.
it was, I did. Um, I enjoyed it a lot. Other
Okay. I don't
people
even
may
remember
not.
it.
So it's really interesting because it takes the idea of Superman, but what happens if Superman's as a kid, like suddenly discovers, oh, I'm all powerful.
Mm,
I don't have to listen to you anymore.
yeah.
And I don't like the way you're talking to me, right? Because children are prone to that. I
Sure.
don't like the way you're talking to me. And imagine a child that starts going down that path that has the powers and abilities of Superman, and Brightburn explores that and is a lot on the terrifying side, right? It's no
Yeah.
longer like I'm going to help everybody. Instead, it's like, oh, you're going to get in my way and try and stop me from doing what I want to do. Well, I'll just punch through your chest.
Yeah. Oof. Which is, we've talked about that kind of idea as adults with Invincible and The
Mm-hmm.
Boys.
I love Invincible.
Um,
It's so good.
I know. Um, so one way that I type of situation plays out in 8 Billion Genies, there's some panels where we get snippets of what other people are wishing for besides kind of the
Mm-hmm.
main characters. And there's one where it appears to be a teenager who is just kind of what you're saying on an impulse, apparently said to her parents, I wish you would burn in hell. And across the table from her, her parents are burning up. And it's just like their hands are left in the moment.
Right.
And it brings up this sort of an interesting relationship between the genies and the people. Like each person
Mm-hmm.
gets a genie, and the genies we're seeing most seem to be interested in being fair. Like unlike sort of a lot of the genies that we get in a lot of stories that are are looking to trap you or to trick you or to like somehow make your your wish horrible. Uh they're they want to see wishes used well. But
Right.
apparently others are just like, oh, that's what even if you just set it on a whim, that's what you wish, that's what you get. So bye bye parents. Like
Right. Yeah.
there's there's some pretty interesting territory to explore there. So
Yeah. I mean,
8 billion genies.
yeah, it definitely gets dark. I like that one. That was a good call. It's a great book, guys. Pick it up. It's, you know, I think we've got a couple issues available on the website as well right now. So, um, along those lines, I'm going to go with what's in the background there. So, DC versus vampires.
Yeah, it's a good choice. It's a
Man,
good
I
choice.
can't. Yeah, I cannot talk about this enough. The art is phenomenal, phenomenal. Like it fits the story well. And I think it's important to remember, right, that sometimes like the art doesn't fit the story.
Yeah.
Right. But this one does. I mean, you got Otto Schmidt with Simone DeMeo and Danielle, I'm gonna mispronounce her name. Di Nicuolo, right? Written by the guy who seems to write the person who seems to write everything. James Tiny Onion. Right?
Tinian, I assume.
Pronounce it.
But his
Math,
just in case, his website is called Tiny Onion, so that's what his name kind of looks like.
Yeah, and Matthew Rosenberg, and really, I mean, the art that you see in the image behind me, that is the art style through the whole book. And wow, I mean, if you haven't read it, it's a must read, right?
Yeah.
And we've got it on the site. It's available on the site. So is a couple other versions, a couple other issues. But anyway, there's just, I love how DC has dove into these alternative universes that explore like zombies and vampires, and the heroes don't necessarily come out on top.
Correct. Yeah. That's I think that's part of what makes it a lot of fun is that you don't have to worry about continuity. and of course, in these sort of stories they love to kill off characters that you would never expect to be killed. And kind of, the reveal of who the king is behind it all is
so good,
right? And
first of all,
shocking, but then you're like, oh wait, no, that kind of makes sense.
Right. I the first things first, like the big first turn is Green Lantern, right?
Yeah.
Literally, the vampire shows up at the Hall of Justice and has this important message to share with everybody, and he's burnt because he's been running through the sun to get there because that's the safest time. The other vampires can't come after him. And he's talking to Green Lantern, and he's talking to Zan from the Wonder Twins.
Yeah.
Right. And it comes to light that Green Lantern is a vampire, right? He's one of the ones that's been turned, and he, in order to keep his secret safe so that they can continue the plan, he creates a giant blender and puts Zan in the blender and blends him up and starts drinking him while he's talking to the other vampire. And so for me, as a huge Green Lantern fan, like I love Green Lantern. He's one of my favorite characters. Hal Jordan, the original, all of them are great, but I am a huge Hal Jordan fan because that's the one I grew up with. That's that's it. To see that happen was like, what? How could you do that? And I was hooked immediately.
For sure. Right. Yeah. It's so fun to see in that way. It's fun to see a character acting completely out of character.
Yes.
And exploring what happens if this guy goes wrong,
man.
And his powers especially, like there's essentially no limit.
Right. No limit. And he's untethered at that point, right?
Yeah.
Like moral aspect of everything is kind of untethered. Right. The moment with Barry on the beach.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Like, and the explanation to Barry, he starts telling him, he's like, I really wanted you to be part of this.
Yep.
It's what I wanted more than anything. But, the master pointed out, like, with your metabolism and your speed, you would drain the planet in record time and there'd be nothing left
for the rest of us. Yep.
Nothing left for the rest of us. So you can't be here. You got to go. And he kills Barry Allen.
Yep.
Which, if you know the history of those two, it's heartbreaking.
Right.
Right. Those two have a really strong history together. So, man, but to your point, right, they keep turning people, and Green Arrow, I love Green Arrow in this series too. He's really great. And of course the Bat family is like the all-knowing, like they've all figured it out, and they're all, you know, all doing the thing together, and you're not sure who the master like vampire is going to be. And when they reveal who it is, oh, that was a punch to the gut
for sure. Like it made me legit sad.
A little bit sad, yeah, right?
Yeah,
like a little bit sad. And it, you know, we've
but
given the
brilliant. It's
spoiler
so
warning.
brilliant.
Yeah, it's brilliant. So, you know, if you've read it, you know, like that reveal is it's Dick Grayson, Nightwing. Nightwing is the master vampire. Like pulling all the strings and turning everybody. And man, like he punches through Bruce's chest. Right? There is one of I loved the fight scene with him and Jason Todd.
Yeah.
Right? He and Jason Todd going at it, and Dick's like, I've beaten you every single time we've done this. And Jason goes, yeah, I was holding back.
Right?
And you're like, that thought never
interesting. No, it never occurred to me. Right.
Yeah.
You don't think of Jason Todd as somebody that's ever holding back.
No, you don't. And so he starts taking it to Nightwing, and he finally like manages, like I think it's Wonder Woman that actually ends up biting Jason to turn Jason. And
that's right.
You know, Jason's very adamant that he doesn't want to turn, and he says something like, do it. And Nick's like, what are you talking about? And way off, all of a sudden an arrow like goes through Jason, and right, he was Green Arrow had to kill Jason Todd. And man, all that happens in volume 1.
Right. Yeah.
Right. 1. And one of the things, and we'll talk about another one that I'm enjoying from DC, and you know, a little bit later, unless you bring it up first. One of the things I really enjoy about DC versus Vampires, and the other series we'll talk about, is how the villains that are left over, right, end up like kind of coming in to save the day.
Yeah.
Right.
Case in point, like there's some. Oh, sorry. Yeah. So I was going to bring that up. That like there's some offshoots of the main story, including the DCV Vampires Killers, where Harley ends up taking down a bunch of vamps. Like
right.
She's you know, it's still basically villain Harley here. This isn't like reformed Harley.
Right. Yeah. And that's what I like, is they bring in like the villain version to give it a little bit more gravitas. Right. So just brilliantly written, and the art, again, I'm such a big fan when the art matches the story.
Agreed. Yeah.
Right. And it matches it perfectly here.
Yeah.
Absolutely great. Yeah. So this is a good one. Like you just have to read it. And again, right, it's available on the site, and you can check it out. And I'll probably keep saying that on the ones that we have. The ones we don't, right, grab at your local comic book shop.
Yep.
Right. Support local comic too.
All right, for my next one, I'm just gonna go with the one on my screen because it's probably my favorite right now, and I don't want to like run out of time before we get to it. And that's Something is Killing the Children. This is the book that made me realize I could enjoy horror comics. I'd never really been a big horror comic guy, but reading this, I was like, oh no, this is terrific. So the story is, that's Erica Slaughter on the screen there that you can see, and she's kind of, I guess the probably the closest cultural touch point would be she's kind of Buffy the Vampire Slayer in a way,
but a lot more bitter and like darker,
right? But just sort of that idea, right? Like here's a young woman who's been trained to hunt and kill monsters, and she's really, really good at it.
Yeah.
But she's learning to do it in a way that or she's going about it in a way that feels right to her, that doesn't violate her conscience. And so she's been willing to violate some of the rules of the order that has trained her to save people that the order would be like, doesn't matter if they live or die. And she's like, no, it does.
Yeah.
And so she's got this moral center that is to me, the bedrock of the book. And
the
it's
center
really,
of the
really
Tootsie
good.
Pop.
Yes, exactly. But it's also a lot of fun and super spooky.
Who's it written by, Dave?
It is shockingly, it is written by Tiny Onion himself, James Tynion. Tynion. How do we decide to say it? Tynion.
We hadn't decided.
Yeah, Tynion with art from Werther Dell'Edera. Dell'Edera, and the most appropriately named artist going, Miguel Muerto.
That's pretty good. Yeah. And this is one of those that the story and the art are perfectly
matched. Yes, I mean, just look at that.
Yeah,
the scratches on her, the blood on the blade.
It's so good.
The dark undertones, it's done on a black background. Kind of reminds me of the way Batman the Animated Series was done on black, dark black backgrounds. Anyway, one of the cool things about that story is that only children or those can see the monsters, or those that have been trained to see them. And so most adults in these stories are completely unaware that there are monsters around.
Right. They're completely oblivious. And I found this because of my daughter, Delilah. This is like her favorite series. When we went to C2E2, she dressed like Erica Slaughter.
That's so great. She's got great taste.
Yeah, she's got phenomenal taste. She did not get that from her father, but so she introduced me to it, which is really nice. Like, I love the fact that I'm able to share this love of comic books with my daughter, but I fell in love with it immediately, and I mean immediately.
Yeah.
One of the things that I really like about this that sometimes has been missing in the past with comic books of this style is that they don't pull any punches. And in the art, in the story, there's literally they're not trying to save you from the horrors of these monsters ripping children apart.
Yeah, right.
Whereas a lot of stuff in multiple media formats, when it comes to horrors being inflicted upon children, like kids dying, those kinds of things, they pull their punches pretty heavy.
Yeah, right? And as a parent, I tend to want that, but somehow
most people do.
In this format, it hasn't turned me off.
Right.
I don't know why that is. I never really thought of it that way. But
I think it's just you kind of walk into it with the name,
right?
Understanding that right. This is what you're getting into. There is no question. I wonder what they're killing in this. It literally starts right out of the gate, right? Something is killing the children. And so you kind of are anticipating, I think, when you start reading this, that you're going to come across something that is horrifying.
Correct.
And it is right? Those monsters dragging those kids off and eating them. The story, though, is so well done, and the characters are so engaging, and it's just brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
And I do think a piece of the story, a piece of the premise, is calls to mind. I believe it's the Nietzsche quote, right? That be careful when hunting monsters that you don't become one. That's what's happened. That's what sets Erica apart. She's trying not to become the monster that she's hunting. And it seems like some of the other folks that are supposed to be part of her Order of St. George that are supposed to be protected, they very much have. They very much have become monsters in their own right.
Yeah.
And so she's fighting the actual monsters and then the human monsters as well. So It's really great. And this book, as I understand it, is on a little bit of a hiatus until March. So it's a great time to catch up.
Yeah.
There are 25 issues.
26, I think.
26. Okay.
Yeah, I think there's one more.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, it is on a little bit of a break.
Which it's a great time to catch up and get into this book.
Yeah, and it's because I think it's on a break because it also is being adapted for the screen.
I didn't know that, but it doesn't surprise me at all because it's so compelling.
Yeah, it's really good.
Let me show. Here's one. Let's just one. Look at the art on this cover.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
It's so fantastic.
Absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, Boom Studios has really done a nice job with that.
That
whole kind of something is killing the children, like slaughter universe.
Yep.
That they've kind of allowed them to build. I'm gonna shift gears, and this is kind of what I would consider to be a classic, like darker character that this run really does dive into kind of the horror aspect, and I think it is more so than anything that's been done since the 70s, and that's Ghost Rider.
Oh wow. Okay.
Right. So this run of Ghost Rider, either you're a fan of it or you don't like it, right? Ghost Rider, and this is a beautiful cover by Peach Momoko, like absolutely, this is one of my favorite covers, and this is written by Benjamin Percy. Corey Smith does the art. It's really, again, the art in it does a nice job of bringing it to life and doing so in a way that it really is like a horror comic again. As it should be, right? When Ghost Rider was originally created, like back in the 1970s, it was meant to kind of shock comic books a little bit. Right? You've got this flaming skull biker character who was kind of not Superman, not Spider-Man, not the goody two shoes or the joking or any of those things. It was very much like probably the darkest character that Marvel had created to date. I mean, you had Dracula and Tomb of Dracula, and you had some other like monster stuff, but it was really kind of that centerpiece for that, I think. And we've had multiple iterations, right? You had Johnny Blaze for years and years and years. Then that gave way to Danny Ketch, and then that gave way to Robbie Rodriguez. And I think Robbie Reyes. Sorry, thank you. I was thinking of the director Robert Rodriguez.
Right.
Phenomenal director.
Yes.
But Robbie Reyes, and really, if you look at like Robbie Reyes, right? I feel like they toned down a little bit of the horror aspect.
I agree.
Right. Even with Danny Ketch a little bit as Ghost Rider, you eventually got the Midnight Suns, so it was kind of this team up. This, I mean, literally, like Johnny's got something going on. He can't remember things. He's trying to figure out what happens. He doesn't have a good relationship with the Ghost Rider anymore, and they keep showing this like sewn up section of his head back here behind his ear that periodically like splits, and you just see all these eyeballs like sticking out of it. Yeah, I mean, it really falls into that that aspect, and I'm a big Ghost Rider fan anyway. So to see this get that turn, I think is a lot of fun. I mean, you can see they definitely went like this. I don't know if you can see it, but there we go. Right. You can see like they just they went dark and gory with it.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that they did, because to me that is that character. He's not a gosh golly gee, we're gonna do great things. It's
he's a tortured guy.
He's a tortured guy. I'd really like to see them bring this character back to the screen too. I'd like to see it get another run on the big screen, or even as a Disney Plus show, though. It'd be interesting to see how they would do that.
Yeah.
I mean, they did a nice job with Moon Knight. Moon Knight's not really your polished, clean character.
Correct.
And there is rumor that we're going to get like Midnight Suns at some point. So I'd love to see that happen. As much as I enjoy Nicolas Cage in a bunch of roles, they didn't do the Ghost Rider movies justice. Like
it's time to move on. Get a new character for that. And Ghost Rider is a character that you can get a new actor for that. I meant Ghost Rider is a character you can do that with.
Yeah, you absolutely can. But yeah, I love, I mean, the old school stuff, right? Look at that. That's just so much fun. Like that was created for Halloween in October.
Yeah, for sure.
Right. That was 100%. That was, man, super cool. Just huge fan of Ghost Rider.
Very nice. So I'm gonna give a quick shout out to House of Slaughter, just because it's this sort of just a continuation of Something Is Killing the Children. It's the kind of the backstory of the different houses that exist in this universe.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, so it's really cool. It kind of doesn't feel like it's its own entry. I mean, it is, but for our purposes today, I kind of feel like it's just an extension of Something Is Killing the Children. It has its own characters, and there's some, Erica shows up in it, of course, and some of it is like, how did this order come to be, and what's the backstory there? But now it's diving off into other characters that are in that world of the different masks and their different colors and the different roles that they play. So it's really good as well. Like everything else in the world right now, written, of course, by James Tynion.
Right.
And that same Werther Dell'Erdia. I'm terrible. I'm sorry.
You're right.
Tate Bromball and Chris Sheehan, and of course Miguel Muerto. So it continues that story. It has very same look or similar look. It's all really, really good. So I just wanted to at least bring that up as part of the. I don't know if there's a name for this universe. What'd you call it before? The
Slaughterverse. Yeah,
that makes sense.
That's what it's being referred to as. It's the Slaughterverse. I know they're talking about doing some other books within it as well.
Okay.
But yeah, that's so in an effort to not take this to like multiple hours. Right. I think we can go through some others that we are enjoying pretty quick. This one, I cannot stress enough how much fun Stray Dogs is.
Yeah, you wrote about that.
Yeah. So when I picked up Stray Dogs, I didn't know what I was getting into, to be honest. All I knew was that Stray Dogs had a bunch of homage covers that were created on the basis of horror movies. And I thought that so like you can see they did one for Friday the 13th.
Oh yeah.
Right. They did, where's another one? So I mean, yeah, like you can kind of see them.
Oh, very nice.
Right. Yeah. Annabelle. The art in this is very much All Dogs Go to Heaven.
Yeah.
Right. But the story is not. Right. So this was written by Tony Fleece, and the artist was Trish Forstner. Colorist was Brad Simpson. So this, I got that and was thinking, man, Rachel would like this one. It's about dogs. It's got art like All Dogs Go to Heaven, but it is. I immediately, when I finished reading it, was like, Rachel should never read this. It'll like torture her about dogs, and we're big dog people. But the great thing about Stray Dogs, the story is unique in that it's told from the point of the dogs, and it's about a group of dogs who have all been adopted and rescued by the same person, but what they have in common is they're all rescue dogs because all of their owners have been murdered.
Oh.
And they come to find out that this individual that has rescued them is the serial killer that kills their owners, and then goes and rescues the dogs.
Whoa.
Right. And but there's like a panel in there where one of the dogs, and the dogs start to remember, right? It makes a joke about the dogs, dogs have short memories and all that jazz, but like the dogs start to get whiffs of like articles that their owners had, like that he took as trophies and put in a room, and they somehow get into the room and they all start remembering, all the dogs do. And so they start turning on this guy. And man, one of the most gut punching moments in this entire like series is when he takes one of the dogs who has started to turn on him out to a shed and kills and skins it.
Oh,
yeah, like the next thing you see is just the pelt hanging to dry, and it's so weird, right? Because you've got All Dogs Go to Heaven style like Disney art and this very dark story that, because of the art, like just hits you at times in ways that you don't anticipate it happening.
That is interesting. And one of the great things about a medium of comic books, we've been talking about how the art matches the story so well, but sounds like perhaps in this case, having an art style that really doesn't match the story makes the story even more impactful.
Yeah. I would absolutely say that's accurate. And one of the things about Stray Dogs, so I'm one of those comic book nerds. I love variant covers. If you know me, I love variant covers. I'd love to collect because I love the different art. This is one of those that somebody very smartly knew people like me would gravitate towards, because all those different poster covers, like it's like somebody being obsessed with Pokemon. You gotta get them all. But the story in and of itself is so good. And yes, I would say, because the art is so polar opposite of the story, right? That you're like, oh, look at all the dogs. It's like 101 Dalmatians. All dogs go to heaven. And oh my God, what has happened? Right. So I think it's more impactful because the art style is unexpected.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That is cool. All right. I want to quickly highlight one more.
Yep.
And I forgot to grab an issue of it, but that would be the Immortal Hulk that Al Ewing did with Joe Bennett doing art. And it's such a different take on Hulk. And it has its art style is very unlike anything else I've seen in Marvel. And kind of, I think the term is like body horror. Like the bodies get misshapen and holes get blown in them, and they kind of come back together, and it's not meant to be clean lines, and it's about as far from the Alex Ross sort of make it look like a human being kind of style as you can get. And it's so interesting, and the story's weird, and Hulk's in hell a bunch of times, and there's stuff in his head, and there's multiple versions, but it's a journey, man. It's a trip that I'm not sure I understood all of the implications of the what's in his head and what's real, and why is he in hell, and who's there, and why does his dad is involved, and of course the leader gets involved at some point, and there's, of course, because it's a Hulk book, there's a government agency trying to stop him, and Betty Ross is involved, like all of the things, but she's like this harpy now, kind of strong character,
like Red Hulk harpy something.
Right. So I think it very well fits the idea of a spooky take on a kind of mainstream character.
That's a great one. And it took me a minute to kind of fall into that one.
Same.
Right, but once I did, it was super fascinating. So nice, like that's a nice call out on that one.
And I think it's completed its run. I think I think Al did 50 episodes or 50 episodes, 50 issues.
50 issues episodes.
And I'm not really sure I understood the ending, but it's really good, and I recommend people find that if they can.
So to wrap up, I just want to like run down a list of comics that I think people should be checking out this October. So Deceased is a good one, right? That's the DC version of kind of Marvel versus Zombies. It's a phenomenal run. Check that one out. We have some Deceased on the website as well. Department of Truth.
Oh gosh, yes. Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up.
If you haven't read Department of Truth, check out Department of Truth. That's another one. By James Tiny Onion. We're just going to call him Tiny Onion until somebody please let us know how we're supposed to pronounce his name. We feel bad. Spawn, the Spawn universe, right? I mean, really, if we look back and think of another super impactful like hero that was dark and more along the horror lines than something else, Spawn, and it's had an epic run, which has given birth to like Scorched and a bunch of other stuff as well. Marvel versus Zombies, of course. I just mentioned that was a phenomenal run, and they've done a couple of those. Marvel versus Zombies Returns and whatnot. And man, that list can just go on and on and on and on. I mean, the Killing Joke, that's interesting. To me is very like dark and horror-esque in the torture and everything else of James Gordon.
Yeah.
So tons of stuff.
Werewolf by Night. We're getting
Werewolf by Night,
that show. Right? We're giving a special, I guess.
Yeah. I think we have a copy of that on the website. Actually, if not, it's going. Yeah. If we don't, it's going up soon. Vampirella. I mean, the name in and of itself, right? It may be one of kind of what's considered the sexy lady looking books, but Vampirella has a nice, long, strong history in comics, and definitely, has never shied away from kind of the horror-esque side of things. So there's another one. There's just tons of it out there,
right?
Really. So, find what you like, read what you like, right?
And let us know. Let us know what you're reading and liking.
Yeah. What is there anything like we missed, right?
Well, there's lots
that
we missed,
you really,
but yeah, what do you really?
Yeah, right. There's tons we missed, but if there's anything like you can suggest that we should go read, let us know.
Do so. Yeah,
let us know. So that was fun. I love this style, and this is the perfect time of year for it.
Absolutely. There's just something about October that makes you enjoy these stories a little more.
And pumpkin spice coffee.
Get yourself some Merv pumpkin spice coffee.
Get yourself some Merv pumpkin spice coffee. Yeah.
Or whatever other coffee you like.
Or whatever other coffee you like. Yeah, that's true. There's you have choices.
You do. Awesome. Well, thanks everybody for hanging out with us today, or whenever it is that you're listening to it, and let us know what you're reading and enjoying, and hopefully it'll expand our knowledge base as well. We love that. That's great.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Thanks so much, and we will see you next time. Bye.
Bye, guys.